What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This time it is going to be an encounter battle on mines. I almost called it Himmelsdorf for some reason. But an encounter battle on mines. This replay is sent in to us by the Gang Boy. He is a pretty old follower of my channel. He sent in replays before, so let's see what he's got in store for us this time. Apparently, he is super psyched to get this on, basically calling people, no one be an idiot, go on the outskirts, rah rah rah, just calling his team kind of stupid. Everyone all go hill, because that always works on this map. Even on encounter, right? Not so much. But anyway, we'll see what he has for us in store today. As you can see, he is playing his Tiger 1. This is still 9.1, and I am running it on the 9.2 game client. So, no promises as to the smooth operation of this replay. We've seen in the past couple ones that it doesn't always run optimally. So, man, is this... Okay, it is normal speed. I just don't remember the Tiger 1 being this slow. It's possible his engine isn't upgraded, but it does look like he is using, in fact, the 88 long, which means he does have the best gun, which I can actually confirm here. 100%, 240 damage, 203 penetration. And I'm just going to assume, yes, the zoom does not work. He saw some trees going down. The Tiger 2 being the one to knock those down. It is a tier 8 match. He is a tier 7 tank, but a very good, solid tier 7 tank. More than capable of handling himself. Going to take a shot on this SU-152, whiffing it. No real sort of... The 152, if it is using the derp gun with heat rounds, does pose a somewhat potential threat. At the same time, as you notice, he has those stone walls there obscuring the 152's line of sight, but not enough. There we go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Over half of his health. Nah, not quite over, but just almost half of his health gone in one shot. But the 152 paying that price right there, not losing just half of his health, but actually losing all of his health. Now, if I could actually recompose myself here and stop tripping over my own words, that would be amazing. So a lot of battle going on right here in the capture area, but the enemy team really not committing a whole lot. The Tiger 2 was already dead, only 2 Tiger 1s remain, and the enemy kind of holding a lot of stuff back over here. KV-4, very dangerous, very hard to penetrate. A Nashorn with its gun, very much of a problem, but the fact is it looks like he's pretty much out in the open. So, and that will look like Gang Boy is moving in for the shot, getting it right there. He should have pulled back a little bit sooner. He was kind of lingering out there with no real reason to, maybe seeing if the Nashorn was going to be shooting him. But see, that KV-1S is right there. That's why you don't like to linger out, because you never know what is going to have a shot on you and be able to shoot you. See, it's almost like I'm psychic, but it's just experience teaching me these things. When you're reloading, there's no reason for you to be hanging your tank out in the open. Just a little bit of friendly advice. But still, managing to get the kill on that Nashorn, kill number 2. Him and his ally here, both driving Tiger 1s. It's a solid platoon, having 2 kills apiece, very close to brothers in arms. If for those of you who don't know, that's 3 kills per platoon mate. Now the enemy team really just absolutely getting demolished in this game, 8-0. The last remaining vestige of hope right here with this KV-4, who has actually taken a lot of damage from what I can assume. He's getting a shot in the side of his turret and his underplate where he is weakest to ISU-152. I don't know if he has the BL-10, but he certainly does not have any kills. The Roomba blitzing out into the open. I know Germans like their Blitzkrieg, but that's really not a smart decision, seeing as he died almost immediately there. He should have been far further back, having a good line of sight on his enemy's front line to where he could give firing support, but he was not in that position. The enemy team pretty much losing hill now as Gang Boys, Hellcat, and Yog Tiger 88 moving in for the kill on what remains. The ISU-152 also not really strong in its armor, getting quickly taken out here. The enemy team only managing to get 2 kills at this point, and granted, they are somewhat large kills, both tier 8 tanks, a Centurion 1 and an IS-6, but nowhere even near the performance they needed to pull this match out. Gang Boys team just went too heavy in the city. The enemy's team too hesitant to support their guys on their front line. And their front line really shouldn't have pushed that far when they didn't have that support. But the capture was pressuring them. So what choice did they really have? 14-2. The last remaining tank is a T-29 at God knows where. And Purple new account is dead. So someone apparently talking about a reroll on their team who is Unicum but having done nothing. T-29 hanging way too far in the back. You can tell he is still a very new player, or if he isn't new, he is playing like a new player. who simply hasn't quite learned yet that as a heavy tank, it doesn't matter if you think you have armor or not. As a heavy tank, you do need to be on the front lines, not by yourself, but with a team, preferably, to where you can manipulate and work with each other. This T-29 gonna die before he really has a chance to do anything. And Gangboy taking the shot away from his ally, who was right there, could have taken that final shot and given them brothers in arms, but still a very solid game, a very quick game, less than 5 minutes if you look at that timer. So really a one-sided battle, which unfortunately you seem to see a lot of in World of Tanks these days. I don't know, maybe it's just the red lens effect, you know, rose-colored glasses, nostalgia, whatever you want to call it, but it feels like back in the earlier days of World of Tanks, this didn't quite happen as often. But anyway, let's go to the post-game stats. Very solid gameplay by Gangboy. Few mistakes here and there. His teammate almost allowing him to get that brothers in arms. If he hadn't taken that last kill, perhaps they could have, but there's no guarantee one of his other allies wouldn't have taken it. Anyway, like I said, let's go to the post-game stats, see how he did. Alright, and here we go with the post-game screenshot right here. You see, not too terrible of a match. Like I said, very solid gameplay. It's hard to do so well when your team just absolutely raffle stomps. But on the other hand, you know, solid performance, managing to take the fight to a couple of enemy tanks, especially spotting the Tiger 2 and the KV-4, helping his team out there, and not getting some spotting damage on both the KV-1S and the Tiger 2. So overall, what is that? 7 shots for damage. Not too terrible. Again, pretty solid performance. Managing to get Mastery Badge 3rd class. That's an average performance rate. With Reaper, good amount of experience earned, good amount of credits earned. Like I said, it's a good, solid game. It's not anything extra super special, but that is the reason why, if you haven't noticed, the replay isn't quite over yet. He did send me in 2 Tiger 1 battles, and due to the quickness of that first battle, we're going to go straight into the second match. Alright, and here we go. Second match. The map is Windstorm. It is a tier 7 battle, so he is top dog. There's quite a few tier 6s and even some tier 5s, so as a Tiger 1, he should be able to perform exceedingly well, be able to just take it to the enemy team and absolutely decimate. Now, I do want to just take a moment to look at the high-resolution tank models. They are so much nicer and prettier than what we're used to, and granted, this is my laptop, so it isn't as pretty as it would say, on my desktop, which has a much more powerful setup, but still I am able to enjoy the nice aesthetic value that World of Tanks has been acquiring over the years. Right here at T21, almost gonna ram him for some damage, but luckily that's one thing I'm glad they changed in recent patches. Who is ever going the fastest when a ram occurs between allies, that is the person who gets blamed for the damage. And so if a scout tank plows into you when you're standing still, the game penalizes them. Well, basically it forces them to pay for their own repair bill and any damage they cause to you. But at the same, so it's much better than in the past. If it happened, then and you didn't get damaged and they got damaged exceedingly, you used to get charged with a huge repair bill, which I'm glad Wargaming kind of pulled their butts out of this, sand, their heads out of the sand on that one. I got a couple thoughts mixed up there in case you couldn't tell. So VK-2001, not even remotely a threat. And another vehicle which I could not make out due to the overlapping tank names, but it looked like it was somewhat of a higher tier and something that should be taken a little bit seriously now. Gangboy going to this northern sort of mountain pass where these ridges are. I'm not quite sure I agree with this. Usually you would like to see mediums and faster tanks go up this route where you would want the heavier tanks to go into the city. A T-28, I'm sorry, I was thinking of a different T-28. That is not the American tank destroyer T-28. That is the Russian T-28 little medium tank that is not really a threat of any sort. Su-122-44 premium tier 7 tank destroyer trying to take shots on that tier 1 heavy tank. A T1 heavy tank, not tier 1, silly me. And Gangboy managing to get a shot off, angling his armor, doing pretty well, although his side armor might be a little too flat. I would definitely recommend angling that a bit more, getting a little bit of a side scraping action, and no, not the good kind here with his allies. AMX 12-ton, really not going to be able to do anything. Quite a bit of shoot and scoot here. Barely any time taken to aim, a lot of snapshots going on. The enemy team losing by 1 tank, really no significant losses for either team. The highest loss is a tier 6. In a match where tier 7s are king, it's really not too much of a concern, especially when the tier 6 is a scout tank. And the 12-ton isn't an exceedingly good tier 6 vehicle, but it performs decently well. Right here, the first real threat he's come across, tier 7 German tank destroyer, managing to just hit his gun mantlet right somewhere if the mark actually would have shown up. We could have seen where exactly, but not known for its armor, not getting the kill on that, his only kill being that 12-ton, I believe it was. It was one of the smaller vehicles he came across earlier. And right here, enemy artillery about to get rolled up on, in very much trouble, and actually getting shot and killed by the 122-44. The enemy team really not doing well anywhere on this match. This is just another steamroll. 1 kill for Game Boy at this point. The enemy team kind of making their last stand, and that larger tank I mentioned earlier is a Tiger P. Really good frontal armor on that thing. It's not impenetrable by any means, but it is formidable and something that should not be taken all too lightly. That 2801 getting shot, Game Boy looking to take a hit on that Tiger P, but his ally almost driving in the way of his gun sight. Thank goodness he did not. And the Tiger P will start to back away a bit more, but not before taking another hit from Gang Boy. The enemy team managing to pull themselves from the brink of defeat here. The loss is not quite as significant as they once were, 8-6, but Gang Boy looking to increase that deficit by helping to eliminate that Tiger P. The final shot, of course, going to the KV-1S, a very formidable tier 6 vehicle, perhaps one of the best in the game, it can be argued, among the Hellcat as well. The 2801 looking to just escape, the enemy team managing to shorten that gap between team kills, but still not managing to do enough. 10-7, it is pretty much, you know, the final nail is almost in the coffin. The enemy team really having an SU-152 and a Tiger 1 really being the only tanks capable of pulling them back from the brink, and it is doable, but not with the SU-152 getting spotted like he has been with as little health as he has. He's really not in any position to be making a comeback. The Game Boys team really needs to just file in one by one to let him kill them, and that's not going to happen. So right here, Game Boy trying to take a shot on that 3601. Did not sound like he hit him. There was no indication. Therefore, he will most likely, he's trying to get the final shot. He will get the final shot, barely taking any time to aim. The KV-2 ricocheting a shot off of Game Boy. Very good that happened, because I'm almost certain that KV-2 is most likely using the derp gun. And for those of you who are not familiar, the derp is the large caliber gun, low penetration but high amounts of damage. I believe the average damage is 700, and I can't really tell what gun is on that vehicle. If the zoom-in indicators were working, it would be very easy to tell. The SU-152 on his flank should be probably taken seriously, and yes, it looks like the derp was indeed on that KV-2. Hold on, let me just look. It's hard to tell. Actually, it might have been the stock gun, judging by its size, so that's very unfortunate. The SU-152 has not been eliminated yet due to Gang Boy's inability to perceive it on his flank because he was having tunnel vision with the KV-2. A little bit of snapshot there with the Tiger 1, kill number 4, and the last remaining threat is that SU-152, but it's really, you really cannot call it a threat given its health, and there we go. Final tank eliminated. The last thing remaining is just the tier 5 artillery. His team is capturing 14-8, solid performance, and really, like I said, he might have been better off going to the city where he would have been able to help his team out. It would have just probably helped to expedite the loss process for the enemy team, but still managing to get 4 kills and a good amount of damage. Let's see what the post-game stats have to say about that. Alright, and here we go with the post-game stats. As you can tell, second class, pretty solid performance, actually managing to get high caliber, meaning he did the most damage of anyone on both teams, and you can see why. Just the number of shots he took and the number of damaging shots he had, just absolutely phenomenal there. And I know 240 average damage is not quite a lot, but when you're top dog in a tier 7 match with lots of tier 6s and 5s, it's actually somewhat much easier to get the high caliber medal, especially when you are firing as much as he was in that match. And you can tell this is a, whoops, I need to go back. Okay, let's just cycle through again really quick. There we go. As I was saying, you know, a lot of those, lower elimination tanks as kills, the 12-ton, the 3601, the KV2, really lower tier tanks, but he did manage to get 3 damaging shots off on the Tiger P. That's a good, about half of his health, closer to a little over for that, and managing to get the kill shot on the Tiger 1. Total experience and credits earned, pretty solid, and that was without premium. So, solid performance there. You can tell this is one of the, I can't remember if it was 9. Yes, it was 9.1. Of course it was 9.1. Hence the T62A Sport in his garage. But, overall, very solid performance. 2 very solid games. No, they weren't quite spectacular. They weren't amazing feats of pro gamerness. But they were very solid gameplays by a player who just had good matches where his team managed to get the upper hand, and he certainly played a role in that. But the fact of the matter is, it's good average gameplays that you can look at, say, well, they did this right, they did this wrong, and honestly, you can learn a lot from average good games as opposed to just pro once in 100 games amazing matches, which those are entertaining to watch for sure. But please send me in more replays, and I will keep bringing them to you. The only time I won't actually upload a commentary is if I can't find anything to say about them. Which, if you haven't picked it up, that's going to be hard. That really is going to be hard. So I'll just keep uploading games and replays for you guys as long as I have them and as long as I have the time, which hopefully is for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to come. I will keep doing videos. But anyway, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you got a replay, check the description for instructions on how to submit. There is a link there. And if you got comments, suggestions on things I can do to improve, just let me know in the comments section below. But until but until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off.